CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way. And by Budweiser Light, with a clean, distinctive taste, worthy of the king of beers.
The rain has abated here at the Orange Bowl in Miami as we head into the final period. Dolphins 1st and 10 at their 40-yard line following the pass completion to Nat Moore. It is Moore in motion across the backfield. Tony Nathan, who scored the last touchdown. Great cut. 50, 45, 40. There's a flag down. Nathan will go all the way, but there's a marker down. There's a penalty marker back at the 50.
It'll wipe it out. The penalty occurred downfield, not on the line of scrimmage, so it won't wipe the play out.
And it'll certainly wipe the touchdown out.
It'll wipe out the touchdown, that's for sure. What are they doing here? Yeah, he marked it wrong. It confused me there for a second.
Number 67, offense, first down.
Against Bob
Watch the right guard. Watch the right guard, number 64, Ed Newman, right there. Bang! On the fill man. He got a great block and leg turned up inside. Now watch 67 at the top of your screen. Let's see what they called. Oh, he reached out and grabbed him and pulled him down, holding all the way. Shula will really get after him.
That was a full takedown and pin by
Bob
Kuchenberg.
Kuchenberg. Must have been a wrestler in college.
So Nathan, who had not scored a touchdown all year, thought for a moment he had his second of the football game. And he'll get a breather. As things turn out, they wind up gaining a net 7 yards on the play, since the penalty is marked from the spot of the foul downfield. It is first down and 3 for the Dolphins at their 47. Going back to the power game once again. Eckern making the stop now for an NFL Today report. Let's go to Brett in New York.
Frank Turk Schonert has a hot hand. He has replaced the injured Kenny Anderson again today for the Bengals. Here is his second touchdown pass. This one to Steve Kreider, and the Bengals lead the Green Bay Packers 34-14. Back to Frank and Dick.
Tell you, Brent, Green Bay continues to be one of the mysterious teams in the league this year, don't they? They play one week and don't the next.
Well, it's not so much that. They're just not good enough on defense right now to always win offensively, that's all.
Dolphins have a 2nd and 1 at their 49. And Marino throwing the ball. Hardy was the intended receiver, and the fans thought that Eckern, number 55, reached over his shoulder and interfered with him.
It looked like he might have, but they didn't call it, so he didn't.
So it'll be 3rd and 1. 13:56 left to play in the game. We've got 72,175 looking on. It's looking very orange here in the Orange Bowl right now.
It looks more orange after getting everybody all wet than it did prior to the rainstorm, doesn't it?
And it looks very orange on the scoreboard with the Dolphins leading 24-14. And with the football. Moore trying to get off the field. Rams showing blitz. Marino on the short yardage situation. Hands off to Franklin. We got a marker thrown on the far side at the snap of the ball. So another penalty. Again, it should be pointed out that the Rams, who have problems on pass defense to begin with, have more because of injuries today. With Irvin leaving early, with Jackson out of there right now. They got Johnny Johnson playing at a corner, and they got Vince Newsom, the 4th-round draft choice from Washington, into Johnson's safety position.
That really hurts you. You lose the continuity in the secondary, plus it eliminates many of the coverages you might play.
Formation, offense, 3rd down.
Eliminate some of the coverages you might play with your experienced people in there. That's a real handicap.
Robinson is concerned about something as he talks to the head linesman, Ernie France, over on the sideline. He wants to get an explanation.
Lay some words on him, John.
He is doing that. Robinson, 47 years old.
Won 82% of his games at USC. That's a pretty good winning record.
One-time assistant under John Madden with the Oakland Raiders. 7 years at USC. Third down, 6. Marino. Joe Rose. Let's see if it's a legal catch, or did he trap it? He's very, very close to the first down marker at the 50-yard line. They're going to rule it a catch, looks like.
The Rams were in a nickel defense that time, so they're back healthy enough to go ahead and put 5 and 6 defensive backs in the game.
They're going to bring in the change from the far side.
He rolled on out. Little pattern right here. They were one-on-one coverage. See, now that's how he was able to get open. See, just one man covering him, one-on-one, man-to-man all the way.
Oh, first down by about an inch.
Talk about a game of inches.
I think you're enjoying yourself a lot more up here than you were down there.
Hey, this is a lot of fun, Frank. It really is. You get so involved in the game because you don't have any worries.
That's the time remaining in this contest, and it has been back and forth most of the way. Rams have not scored here in the second half. It was tied 14-all at halftime. In case you joined us late, the Dolphins have controlled the ball. Since then, put 10 points on the board. First down from midfield. Woody Bennett and Nathan in the backfield. Nathan. That's the play they broke for the big one a moment ago that was called back.
It was similar to it, but blocked a little bit differently. Maybe due to the total offensive call, but the fullback at that time blocked on the linebacker. Mel Owens, number 58.
Nathan hurting as he leaves the field. Second down, 8. Marino, 24 out of 36 for 270 yards. Denver leading Kansas City. Interesting matchup there between the two former Dallas assistant coaches. Seattle over the Raiders.
Chuck Knox. Boy, is he a heck of a football coach.
Second and 8 from the Ram 48. On the delay, it is Overstreet. Inside the 40, Overstreet, 30, 20, and knocked out of bounds at the 5 on a great effort by linebacker George Andrews. Andrews came across the field to save the touchdown. 44 yards.
You're going to see Andre Franklin, number 37, right in front of him. Now he starts up inside. It was a sort of a lag draw, they call that pro football. He breaks outside, makes a miss right there. Johnny Johnson, again, doing a poor job of tackling. They block into each other. Now look at the speed. Here they come. Who is that coming all the way over there?
That's Andrews.
Andrews, number 52, coming all the way from the far linebacker position.
First and goal from the 4-yard line. Dolphins definitely taking command here in the second half.
I believe that's Overstreet's first big play as a Miami Dolphin.
Number 2 backfield in there right now with Woody Bennett and David Overstreet. Marino, quick throw. Great reaction from Johnny Johnson, the Ram defender, as he tried to fire it out to Nat Moore.
Great pass defense that time. Really a nice job, and you've got to be careful right there that you don't interfere with the man. Did a nice job of coming right over the top. Boy, he's a gifted athlete, that guy. Out of University of Texas, a number 1 pick. Well, all 4 of those guys in that secondary played pro football out of Texas that year, didn't they?
And 2 of them are in this game. Blackwood, played at the same time with Johnson, Derek Hatchett from Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore. And the one kid at the 49ers. Can't think of his name.
Ricky Churchman.
Oh, are you sharp? Of course, you're from Texas.
Second and goal from the 4. Marino, Overstreet, touchdown. Dolphins have taken charge. They lead it 30-14 with 12 minutes and 4 seconds to go, and David Overstreet paying his first dividends for
now
Miami.
Watch the quarterback. The reason this is open, the quarterback makes the fullback fake and gets the linebacker who's supposed to cover it, freezes them just enough to give him the step to go ahead and get himself in the end zone. That running play fake froze the linebacker and allowed him to get out there and get that step.
Uwe von Schaman. With struck to hold. Von Foot.
I like that name, Von Foot.
Not this time. Coming up the middle, number 77 is Gary Jeter, the former New York Giant.
That's the first time we've mentioned his name all night. But, oh, it's just bad blocking technique by the left tackle right there. He should have blocked down, and for some reason he turned out. It's either the left tackle or left tight end. I couldn't tell. Hello, Mr. Overstreet.
Welcome back to the NFL, David Overstreet.
Back in '69, Subaru was pretty much alone in introducing front-wheel drive. In '75, with on-demand four-wheel drive, we were alone. And now with turbo traction, turbo plus on-demand four-wheel drive and automatic transmission, we're alone again. And we don't plan to be part of the crowd in the future either. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
One computer company has been shaping the way business does business for 99 years, NCR. Today, NCR High Technology puts computer power where business needs it most. Computer power that helps shoppers check out faster as it controls a supermarket's inventory. Computer power to provide banking services 24 hours every day. NCR, shaping the way business does business.
77-yard drive by the Dolphins, resulting in the second touchdown pass of the game for Dan Marino, the 4-yard throw to David Overstreet. 30-14. Dolphins lead it, and von Schaman is ready to kick off. Barry Redden, the deep man. That's the best kick from that direction. Of course, the wind has let up a bit since the rain pushed through here, and the rain is virtually stopped now.
That was still an excellent kick. Just really a good kick because there's a slight breeze.
Lots of excitement coming up on CBS Sports Saturday, including the 1983 World Figure Skating Championships, the World Cup Acrobatics Championships, and John Madden's Journey, which will explore how several former NFL players are coping with physical problems caused by football. Watch it next Saturday, November 12th, on CBS Sports Saturday. That's about time for the Rams to show something if they're going to get back in this game.
They have to right now come up with a series right that will get him in the end zone. And they're capable of doing it. There goes that no-back offense right now. Look at that. It's going in motion.
Dickerson in motion. Ferragamo to throw, and he goes to Dickerson. Has it at the 20, up to the 25. Eric Dickerson to the 28-yard line. Tony Nathan, who has had a busy afternoon so far for the Dolphins, caught 4 passes.
Look at the ice pack.
Well.
Look at the ice pack, Frank.
Yeah.
People really use a lot of ice now in the prevention and the care of injuries and that thing within the National Football League and all levels of sports now.
Corey came off the field after that carry in front of the bench and was not in at the tail end of that drive. Ferragamo on 2nd and 2 again to Dickerson. 30, 35, 40. Eric Dickerson to the 43-yard line. You got to get the ball in his hand some way.
You have to. And there was a nice little screen pass out there. Kent Hill, number 72, was out in front of it. Did a nice job getting out there and just about got a cut. Here, see, look at the big Bain, number 62, pass protecting right there. Now watch 72, right in the middle of the screen. See him coming out? Now Eric catches the ball. He's going to get up there. There was a zone defense. They were playing back off, so there was a lot of room. That's why there was such a cushion there. And the lineman actually couldn't find anybody to block. Doug Smith got a block downfield.
In addition to 101 yards rushing, Dickerson has caught 7 passes in this game for 47 yards. Ferragamo this time to Gooman. Hit at the 50 and stopped short of the first down as he dives into Miami's end of the field at the 48-yard line. Oh, I mentioned CBS Sports Saturday. That's coming up a week from next Saturday, not next Saturday.
That Gooman's really a talented guy, working on his MBA right now in business. And he's played to 3 or 4 different positions in college: tailback, defensive back, wide receiver. Here he is playing the U-back.
Of course, he's seen the ball a lot in the past. I don't know how happy he can be in that U-back situation, which calls for you mainly to be a blocking back for Dickerson more than anything else. 2nd and 3. Redden driving for the first down. And if they give him a good mark, he should have it at the 46-yard line.
Big Kent Hill, number 72, pulled and blocked Bob Brzezinski, the left linebacker, number 59, and there was great contact, but Brzezinski constricted the play enough that there wasn't enough room to go ahead and explode it.
Brzezinski was the #1 draft pick of the Rams back in 1977, got involved in a contract hassle, and eventually was traded to the Miami Dolphins.
There's Bob right there.
Former Ohio State All-American. 1st and 10. Rams at the Dolphin 45. Ferragamo plants it. Delivers. Little low, intended for David Hill. You know, looking at Ferragamo, I notice sometimes he seems to back up sideways. Sometimes he goes straight back.
Well, he uses a pedal technique every once in a while, and you've got to be careful using the pedal technique, meaning that he just backs straight out and never turns his shoulders away from the line of scrimmage. He just stays square and backs out, and you have better vision to your left. But sometimes quarterbacks develop a habit of when they do that, they only throw to their left, and you've really got to be careful at it. Otherwise, they use the normal technique of just turning and sprinting back.
You can scout that fairly easily, I imagine.
You can from time to time. I can remember George Allen used to play defenses according to that in 1969.
2nd and 10. Ferragamo under pressure. Delivers. It is picked off. Intercepted on the far side. Number 48 is Gerald Small, looking for running room. Still on his feet at the 35. And decked at the 41-yard line. Ferragamo with his first pass interception of the day, 15 out of 25, but they've held him to 105 yards total. And Gerald Small picks it off, and the Dolphins in great shape.
You really can't see it until the final second here, but he actually was double covered, short and long. You can see the safety 42 was deep on it. Now he's going to cut back here and look for some blockers. These are the times you really got to be careful as a player, because there's injuries occur on these type of open field plays. And you've got to be careful for the clips and all that kind of stuff. Did a nice job of returning that ball. That's his 5th interception on the year.
Attention, Dolphins, ladies and gentlemen, Burger King is...
Bigger engines work easy on oil. But today's smaller, higher revving engines are tougher. They can break down an oil's viscosity within 1,500 miles. That's why there's Castrol. Tests show Castrol suffers no significant breakdown of viscosity even after 5,000 miles. So use Castrol, because if you make things too hard on your engine could make things hard on you. Castrol, engineered for smaller cars.
Luxury car with elegant appointments, classic styling, and perhaps the greatest luxury of all, a sensible price. The beautifully affordable GL10s from Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Next Sunday, you'll see the Dallas Cowboys battle the Philadelphia Eagles or the Chicago Bears against the Los Angeles Rams, plus other regional action next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Gerald Small up among the leaders in the AFC with interceptions, picking off his 5th of the year. And as we head back to play with 8:59 left in the contest, and the Dolphins leading 30-14, they have a 1st and 10 at their 40. Marino, great handoff that time as the Dolphins will try to run some time off that clock.
I thought the nose guard, Charles DeJournay, number 70, was offside, but I guess I'm the only one who thought so.
Looked like it to me, too. Overstreet on the carry that time. That's the time remaining. And the second half has been all Dolphins after we were tied at halftime at 14 apiece. Interesting year about Miami. They entered the year with 9 free agents and 20 option players, and they've managed to sign everybody save David Woodley.
And Don Shula.
And, oh yeah, the most important of all. Andre Franklin across the 45 out to the 47-yard line.
Gary Jeter in there playing for Jack Youngblood right now and did a nice job of moving inside out on that play and made it. That's how a defensive end ought to play that play.
You know, I didn't know if Jack just didn't have an outstanding game, but he never quite showed up, you know, where we had a chance to call his name that often.
Well, you have to give Eric Laxo some credit, number 68, playing right tackle, you know. He's been doing a real good job on him and making him earn everything he was getting. And evidently, he sort of won the battle tonight.
Third down. Dolphins will need 4 for the first from their 47. There's Laxo.
Big guy. Might be the only Finnish player of Finnish descent in the NFL. That's what they say.
Franklin finds nothing.
Broken play, I think.
Cromwell came up from the secondary. Cromwell has made several super hits in this football game. I mean, when he goes on safari, the Lions roll up the windows.
Boy, he does. He has put some people down.
Like today, I defy any cloud to appear in the sky. Dare any raindrop to plop in my eye on a wonderful day like today.
Subaru presents the only full line of on-demand four-wheel drive vehicles in America. So now, every day can be
A wonderful day like today.
Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way. Some things speak for themselves.
54 yards on the punt by this man, Reggie Roby, who has averaged now 50 yards a kick. He's the biggest punter in the league at about 240.
I know. I can't believe he lasted until the 6th round before he was drafted. He set an NCAA record in 1981 at 49.8 average. My sakes.
Shula was chortling over that yesterday. He said some of the big-time scouts in the league apparently blew in there. Ferragamo to Gooman at the 25-yard line, and Mike Gooman up to about the 33.
He was out there all alone because Bowser, number 56, got tied up inside with the receiver and didn't get his buzz correctly out underneath that.
Gerald Small making the stop. Small, who had the interception a moment ago. So it is 1st and 10 for the Los Angeles Rams at their 33. They trailed 30-14 after the 13-yard pickup on that last play. Rams, of course, a team that's been in the playoffs, 8 years in a row up to 1980, from 73 to 80, which ties an NFL record. Trying to get back. Ferragamo with a strong sideline throw to Farmer. Farmer at the 50, 45, and down to the 40. First down, Los Angeles. So the Dolphins loosening it up a little bit, allowing the Rams perhaps to run a little time off the clock themselves as they lead by 16 at this point with 6 minutes to go in the game. Frank Lieber along with Dick Vermeil. We are at the Orange Bowl in Miami. 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to play in this NFL game. Rams have a 1st and 10 at the Dolphin 40. They trail 30-14 as Eric Dickerson takes the handoff from Vince Ferragamo and carries to the 37-yard line. A reminder that 60 Minutes and the CBS primetime schedule will be seen in its entirety following football, except on the West Coast, where the programs will be seen at their regularly scheduled time.
Bob, excuse me, Bob. Turn it on.
There it is. Still didn't work, huh? It is holding against the Rams, which moves it back to the 50-yard line. Eddie, you were going to say, Dave?
Bob Rudzinski, number 59, the left linebacker for the Rams, did a super job of making that play. Dickerson is always about a step away from being clean into the secondary. What an amazing running back.
Time left in this game, 5 minutes and 35 seconds. It was tied at halftime at 14-all, but it has been all Dolphins here in the second half, which was marred by a tremendous torrential downpour. in the third period. Ferragamo setting up strong. Great catch by David Hill inside the 30, and the big tight end carries to the 26 before he's shoved back.
He got open going down the hole in that double zone defense where the safeties split and go double cover both outside wide receivers, and he beat the coverage down inside. Watch the right tight end. Now see him up there on the top of the screen. He's going to come off to the outside. He's going to be isolated on Mike Kozlowski. See him right here? It's going to be isolated right there, and he found the zone right there in front of those two safeties. Nice job.
There was a penalty marker.
Let's see what happened. Who gets mad at who right here?
It's against the Dolphins. It apparently happened after the catch. And let's see if...
maybe he had a face mask.
Let's see if Bob McElwee's mic works this time. Personal foul against the Dolphins. And that will give the Rams the ball inside the 15-yard line. They'll spot it at the 13. They need touchdowns, and they need them in a hurry. Miami is at San Francisco next week. Chicago Bears play the Rams next week. That's Denver leading Kansas City in the fourth period. First down. On the reverse, it is Farmer trying to get outside. Now coming back this way. He's back at the 20, back at the 25, looking for running room, and finally goes out of bounds at the 22-yard line for a loss of 8 yards on the play.
Vince Ferragamo got a real good block. I don't know what everybody else did, but the quarterback got a pretty good block.
Farmer just ran out of running room. That's not exactly the way you diagram it.
No, that's not what they wanted to happen, but they're looking for big plays right now. Of course, Miami can afford to play conservative defense right down here. They don't have to play man-to-man, even though they have very little field of defense. They can go ahead and play zone and don't stunt, red dog, or safety blitz.
Well, John Robinson can't be too happy the way things are going for the Rams. A loss here would put them at 5-4. And depending on what San Francisco and the Jets do, they could be 2 games out. Second down, 19. Ferragamo over the middle. Farmer hit at the 19-yard line. Pickup of about 5 on the play. Ernie Roan, number 55, made the stop. Young man who's coming back after a 3-week bout with pneumonia.
He crossed the formation and then ran underneath the coverage of the Miami Dolphins. Just caught that short ball, hoping to get more out of it, of course, but didn't get it. You know, the Rams are playing without Mike Barber right now, too, so that hamstring must be bothering him. Remember they said he hurt it Wednesday in the practice field?
He did. Plus, a lot of injury problems for the Dolphins among their linebackers. They have had 8 linebackers injured this year. Third down, 15 from the 19. Ferragamo trying to get 6. It is intercepted in the end zone for the touchback by Blackwood. Glenn Blackwood, number 47. That's the second interception for the Dolphins. He is the younger of the 2 Blackwood brothers from the University of Texas.
He's something, you know, here it goes right now. I don't know why Vince threw this, because there's all kinds of people back there, and he was trying again to get the ball to that tight end that he completed just a few plays back into that zone, and that guy was just sitting there waiting for it.
4 minutes, 12 seconds left to play in the game. We'll be back in just a moment.
Back in '69, Subaru was pretty much alone in introducing front-wheel drive. In '75, with on-demand 4-wheel drive, we were alone. And now with turbo traction, turbo plus on-demand 4-wheel drive and automatic transmission, we're alone again. And we don't plan to be part of the crowd in the future either. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
I'm Eddie Muntz. I'm an arms dealer, and I'm going to make the deal of the century.
Bienvenido.
Take a couple of samples, take them home, see if you like them, let me know how many you need, okay?
I don't want to be a part of that anymore, Ed.
Where have all the good salesmen gone?
Order forms are in the catalog, gentlemen. I hope we can do business together.
Chevy Chase, Sigourney Weaver, and Gregory Hines are going to make the deal of the century.
Hey, we're not out to stick it to anybody.
Rated PG starts Friday, November 4th. Check newspapers.
Last season, Pittsburgh was undefeated and #1 until they met Notre Dame. Now the Panthers want revenge, plus other regional games. NCAA football next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Glenn Blackwood have made the interception. Remember, he told Hook 'em horns. Yeah, he told me yesterday. He gave me a shot. He said, "Boy, I used to watch you when I was growing up in San Antonio." 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Dolphins just trying to run the clock out now. The Rams 30-14 with 4 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in this contest. And we welcome those of you who have been watching the Green Bay-Cincinnati game. Frank Lieber along with Dick Vermeil. We're in the Orange Bowl with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in this game. And the Miami Dolphins assuming command in the second half after a 14-all tie at halftime. It's been all Dolphins. 30-14. Miami has the ball. They have a 2nd and 9 at their 20-yard line. And another fine performance by their rookie quarterback, Dan Marino, handing off there to Andre Franklin.
Really a nice job by the linebackers filling in. Hey, look at these guys here.
Think they happy?
Mike Charles, number 71. He's a rookie playing as a starter tonight in place of Kim Bokamper.
Cincinnati beating Green Bay 34-14 in that contest. And we'll try to pass along other finals for you. This now final, the Jets beat San Francisco. So even if the Rams lose, which seems probable, they'll be just one game behind the San Francisco 49ers. Despite the fact their record will be 5-4. 3rd down 6. Dolphins at their 24. Marino just sticking on the ground. Goes to Andre Franklin. They're looking at 4th and 5. And some upsets in the league today. Rather interesting Sunday as we start the second half of the season. Keep in mind that those of you who are 60 Minutes fans, stay with us. It in the primetime schedule in its entirety right after the conclusion of this football game, except on the West Coast, where 60 Minutes and the rest of the primetime lineup will be seen at the regular time. Once again, Reggie Roby punting against the breeze for the Miami Dolphins. This guy has put on an exhibition.
He really has. You know, he was a high school tight end and an all-state baseball player. So, you know, he's a talented athlete as well as just a punter.
Clock is run down to the 2-minute warning. We'll be back in Miami in just a moment.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. Be All You Can Be, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Miami's A.J. Dewey can play any defensive position asked of him, and he used that flexibility to intercept 3 passes against the Jets in the 1982 AFC Championship game.
Back to throw. It's intercepted by Dewey. He's going to take it in.
By dominating the Jets almost single-handedly, A.J. Dewey was the best that he could be.
A Ranger never takes the easy way out.
You're reaching deep inside you for things you've never known.
Go! That's why getting into the Rangers is tough, and the training is tough.
Be all that you can be.
So it makes me feel like I'm part of something really special.
Be all that you can be.
And I'm not the only one.
You can do it in the Army.
Miami leading the Rams at the 2-minute warning, and Roby getting ready to punt it. Another big day for Dan Marino, the rookie quarterback, in his 4th start. He hit 25 out of 38 today for 280 yards and a pair of touchdowns. And his first interception in 96 throws right at the end of the first half. Great kick. Johnny Johnson waiting for this one. Fields it at the 30, 35. And Johnson is knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Hang time 4.9. And I think he'll take that anytime, huh?
Oh, anytime.
Let's take a look at the final scores we have. Danny White, 5 touchdown passes for Dallas today as the Cowboys beat the Giants 38-20. Tampa Bay was ahead in that game. Pittsburgh won it. St. Louis with a big victory, upsetting Minnesota 41-31.
We'll see them next week against Washington.
Detroit over Chicago 38-17. Buffalo beating New Orleans. Great game, 27-21. Atlanta topped New England 24-13. Falcons starting to come on. Baltimore edging the Eagles 22-21. 5 field goals by Raul Alegre in that one. Ferragamo over the middle to Guman. 40-45 out to the 47-yard line. Picked up just about 10. Just about enough for the first down. More final scores. Third time this year. Houston has gone to overtime and lost it as Cleveland beat them.
Oh, gosh, that's tough to take. Losing's bad enough, but to lose 3 in that kind of situation.
Denver leading Kansas City in the 4th period. The battle between John Malkovich and Dan Reeves. Both were on Tom Landry's staff. And Cincinnati topping Green Bay 34-14. That's also a final. Jets beating San Francisco. Ferragamo hitting Guman at the 50-yard line to the 48. Clock runs down to the 1-minute mark here at the Orange Bowl Stadium in Miami, Florida. Seattle and the Raiders are still at it out of the West Coast, but it looks like Seattle pretty well has a lock on it. And we gave you this one a moment ago. The Jets beating San Francisco 27-13, which means for those of you who follow the Rams closely, that they will remain just 1 game behind. And, Atlanta's starting to come on, and New Orleans a pretty good team in that West.
That's going to be a tough division this second half. They've got 16 rounds to fight in an NFC division race. They fought 8 rounds. This next 8 rounds, each round is going to be a tough one.
And, of course, the Dolphins with a victory here helps them tremendously. This is the way things look in the NFC West. San Francisco with the game edge over the Los Angeles Rams. And New Orleans still hanging in there, and Atlanta coming on now with 2 straight victories. This does not count today, but the status quo situation would remain as regards those first 2 clubs. With the Rams 1 game behind.
And a tie for second.
And, of course, Buffalo and Miami. Miami with a victory here will get its 6th of the year, and they once again will be tied with Buffalo for the top spot in the AFC East. And Miami, after a slow start this year, they really got rolling.
Well, they had so many injuries, Frank.
Coming up, Brett Musburger with scores and highlights 1 minute and 1 second away. That's how much time is left in this NFL interconference game between the Rams and the Dolphins here at the Orange Bowl. Ferragamo going for the consolation touchdown to Dickerson. Down to the Dolphin 40 to the 35-yard line. He has pretty well been held in check, hasn't he, in the second half?
Well, he had the one nice run in the first half, like you say, but in the second half, like, they've kept him in control. The Miami offense has done a good job of staying on the field, too.
Dickerson actually had 2 runs in the first half, 1 for 40, 1 for 31. It was a real knockdown drag-out for 1 half with the score tied at 14 at intermission. Marino had the big bomb to Mark Duper, which was their big play in the first half. And Marino winds up throwing yet another touchdown pass. Tony Nathan scores his first touchdown of the year. And the Dolphins have themselves a very impressive victory. And 60 minutes is coming up shortly, so stay with us. Marino on first down. Sideline throw. Denard out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Another guy we haven't heard much from today is Mike Barber, the tight end, who's been a big target all year, their leading receiver.
Well, he came into the game with a hamstring problem, and evidently it really bothered him. Don's got to be excited. Don't look so ornery, Don. You're winning.
Well, he's happy now because they just said that Denard was out of bounds when he caught that ball.
No, he's still not happy.
Again, coming up tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes. Brand new episodes there, followed by Alice, One Day at a Time, the Jeffersons, Goodnight, Beantown, and Crapper John M.D. Clock is down to 45 seconds. 2nd and 10. Rams from the Dolphin 35. Ferragamo, a little floater this time, almost had it picked off. Ernie Roan, number 55, the linebacker, was there. Next week, another complete schedule of games right here on CBS for you, highlighted by the Cowboys meeting with the Philadelphia Eagles that many of you will see, particularly in the southwest and the northwest part of the country, and also in the east. And in addition, many of you will be watching Atlanta play New Orleans, Tampa Bay at Minnesota, St. Louis at Washington. Those are all Well, the other two are early starts. St. Louis, Washington will be a late starting game, as will the Bears match up with the Rams, which will be on in Southern California, the Midwest, and parts of the Northeast. Gooman on the completion goes out of bounds to stop the clock at the 23-yard line. That's enough for the first down with 32 seconds remaining. I'll tell you one thing, Ferragamo has really made use of his running backs as receivers in this contest. Dickerson has caught 8 balls for 59 yards, and that is Gooman's eighth catch. 16 receptions by the two running backs.
Well, early in the game, remember, I think even in the pregame show, we stated that we thought that Miami would force the Rams to throw the ball to the tight end and the running backs and that kind of thing, and take away those two outside receivers, and they've done a good job of doing that.
Rams going for the consolation touch here.
Interception.
That looked like it had interception written all over it, and Judson, who you'll recall, has 3 interceptions in 1 quarter against the New York Jets a couple of weeks back.
He's playing in the place of the injured Don McNeil, who tore an Achilles tendon in training camp, and started slow, gained confidence, and has really come on strong now. Has 4 interceptions. Between the two corners, they have 9 interceptions.
And as a team, the Dolphins now have 18, which will put them well up among the leaders. Brett Musburger coming up shortly with the NFL wrap-up show. We'll have scores and standings for you. That's just 26 seconds away, so stay with us. Picked off. And that will be returned for some distance by Lyle Blackwood. 35 out to the 40. Blackwood at the 50. And caught by David Hill at the 49. So Lyle says, well, Brother Glenn got one. I guess I'll get mine.
Didn't want to be overshadowed by the little brother. There's a guy playing on his 5th football team.
So there's a man who he is proud of his defense. Bill Arnsparger, the assistant head coach, in charge of defense. What a job he has done.
Oh, he's a very fine football coach, very much respected in the National Football League. The players really respect him. I think Vince is just going for broke. He has nothing to lose. He's going to try to force it in down there in that zone. He's sitting back there, comes underneath it, dissects it. Now, here's where you got to be careful. Injuries occur in those kind of plays.
And Marino takes the snap, and that should do it. Ferragamo, 23 out of 38 for 213 yards, 3 touchdowns. Marino, 25 out of 38 for 280 yards. Stay with us. Brett Musburger coming up shortly with all the scores and highlights as the Dolphins have beaten the Rams here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, 30-14.
I do a lot of weekend driving in pretty heavy traffic, and everything's riding on my Goodyears. These racing tires give me the kind of handling I need. And during the week, I count on Goodyear Street Radio, because on the track or off, I feel better with the blimp behind me.
Get the blimp behind you. Come up to Goodyear.
You don't have to be a hotshot driver to have a big following.
This is how I give my business career an extra edge. If you're in shape, you've got the edge. Speed Stick deodorant gives you an edge, too. Speed Stick is wider than narrow sticks. Gives you man-sized protection. The wide stick feels good going on, and it takes just a few strokes. It's a great value, too. In this world, a little extra edge is all you need.
Let the wide stick give you the edge. Speed Stick deodorant.
By Menon.
And a reminder that immediately after this quick wrap-up show, you will see 60 Minutes in its entirety, except out of the West Coast, where we'll be seen at its regular time. All finals except one game, of course. You watched as the Dolphins closed out the Rams. 30-14 was the final there. The Jets over San Francisco, 27-13. This is how the Jets slammed the door. Jerry Holmes, who will jump to the United States Football League next year with this interception of a Joe Montana pass. It was one of 2 intercepted passes that Montana would serve up. This loss by the 49ers means now that the Rams hang in there, only a game behind the 49ers. The final again was 27-13. Seattle upsets the Raiders for the second time this year. The Raiders turn the ball over 5 times. They still lead the league in that category. 34-21 is the final score. This is the only game still in progress. Denver leading Kansas City 27-17, about 4 minutes and 30 seconds to play out in the Mile High City. Cincinnati over Green Bay 34-14. Dallas, with 5 touchdown passes thrown by Danny White, defeats the Giants 38-20. The Philadelphia Eagles are now 0-5 at home this year. They lose to the Colts 22-21. Detroit over the hapless Bears 38-17, the final there. Atlanta beats New England 24-13, and now the Falcons' record is a fine and improving 4-5. Minnesota loses to St. Louis. The Cardinals put more points on the board than any team in the league today. 41-31 was the count there. Buffalo, 4 touchdown passes from Joe Ferguson, 27-21 the count. Cleveland in overtime hands Houston its 9th straight this season, 16th straight overall. The Oilers have lost 3 games in overtime this year alone. Pittsburgh scores 17 points in the 4th quarter to come from behind to beat the Buccaneers 17-12. Now the standings, and these are the teams that would qualify for the playoffs if we started tomorrow. Buffalo and Miami from the AFC East. In the AFC Central, it would be Pittsburgh at 7-2. And from the AFC West, it would be the Raiders and Denver. In the NFC, 5-4 would tie for a wild card. The Cowboys and Washington would be in right now. In the NFC Central, it would be the Vikings. They're in there at 6-3. And in the NFC West, the 49ers would qualify, and the Rams in New Orleans would be tied for the final wild card spot. A reminder that next Saturday here on CBS, most of you will see this game, Pittsburgh against Notre Dame. Airtime 3:30 Eastern Time here on CBS. And, of course, coming up next, we will bring you 60 Minutes in its entirety, except on the West Coast, where we'll be seen at its regular scheduled time. I'm Brent Musburger. We hope you've enjoyed the NFL Today on CBS. So long, everybody.
Now United flies to Tokyo from more top U.S. business centers. United's 3-class international service to Tokyo. It's truly world-class.
When 60 Minutes asks, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio, what they're really asking is whatever happened to sports figures we could look up to. This evening on CBS.